AgWeek Weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
Is this cooler weather here to stay? Here's John with our Agri-weather outlook.
A definite change in the weather pattern here, and it's definitely a seasonal change as well. Just overall, not only does the weather across most of the country feel much more like early fall, but the pattern is shaped like it as well, with the jet stream doing some different things. And across much of the northern U.S. and the Great Lakes area, you're going to feel some cooler weather. And over much of the eastern seaboard, the heat wave giving way to probably some more rain, but also some much cooler weather. And probably the biggest weather story is a major hurricane that may not even directly impact the United States, but will impact the weather pattern. All right, here we go with the overall pattern. A couple of jet streams are really, these are just focal points of the stronger winds. This dictates the general flow, or demarks the general flow across the country. And we are seeing a little bit of a cool dip here in the eastern U.S., and that is pushing the really hot weather, the sultry 90-degree weather and 100-degree weather, mostly 90s now, down to the Gulf Coast. We're starting to see this week in the northern plains and Great Lakes, weather even only in the 60s or some lower 70 days, and there's some pretty chilly weather up here in the region between the Great Lakes and Hudson Bay. Now, as we go through the week, jet stream getting pretty far south, though this is the southern jet, so it's not like it's delivering chilly weather, but cooler weather to the deep south. All of this as a major hurricane approaches the United States. With the shape of the pattern, the storm is likely to curve northward, and it may even stay out to sea or just impact the extreme eastern part of Canada. But what it will do when it passes is it will pull down some colder weather as the main polar jet stream will react to that. And as the storm by this weekend moves away from the Canadian Maritimes, we get some troughing. And what that will mean is by early in the area here around September 17th through 20th or so, we're actually going to get a little bit of light jacket weather into Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and will really cool down the south. And even some freezing weather will move down toward the Hudson Bay area. Out west, the opposite. The Rockies get some pleasantly warm weather for the latter part of September and a rare warm spell in the Pacific Northwest. But this isn't 90s. That hot stuff will stay really way down south. Now, with this in mind, precipitation is going to be fairly wet along the eastern seaboard, even though I expect really the main hurricane to stay mostly out to sea. There will likely be considerable rain in the form of rain and thunderstorms, and some of it may be even quite heavy, especially where that storm may get very close or even directly impact up here in eastern Canada. A few scattered showers and thunder showers in Texas. I mentioned that because there's been no rain there, but most of the northern plains in the west pretty dry, maybe not completely dry, but mostly so for much of the month of September. The rains will continue to be mostly along the eastern part of the United States.